Good evening, Bula Vinaka and Namaste. Welcome back to our show this evening. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan, and as always, we're always listening to you on your concerns and issues that you have as the people of this country. What is affecting you? Who do you want on the show? And this is one that we have had this request for a couple of months now, based on things that have transpired this year. And we are grateful that after the approach to Vodafone Fiji and Consumer Council that we've managed to get Vodafone Fiji head of eCommerce and digital financial services, Mr. Shailendra Prasad, and Consumer Council of Fiji manager campaigns, information and media, Vinash Singh, in studio tonight to answer to your questions and also in relation to issues that have transpired. And I will be fielding those questions to Shailendra and Vinash in relation to the issues that are affecting people or how the services are running. A better understanding for you as we go more into cashless payments and different platforms emerging, about the safety measures, security measures in place, and the best way to use it if you are worried or concerned about the different platforms. So Shailendra and Vinesh, thank you very much on behalf of our listeners and users.
Thank you, Vijay, and Bula Vinaka and Namaste to the whole of Fiji, and thank you for this opportunity.
Our show will mainly focus on M-Pesa services, the emergence of scams that has affected the people, and how the country is dealing with millions of dollars going through this service. Now, Shailendra, when did M-Pesa start? How many people are registered with M-Pesa now?
So, M-Pesa started in June 2010. Just to give you a little bit of background, so at the time there was a survey done by the central bank, the Reserve Bank, and they found that about 45 to 50% of Fiji's population was either underbanked, unbanked, or financially excluded from basic financial services. And with the advent of technology and mobile phone in particular, services that could be offered electronically, it became a very convenient medium to take the services to more people. So we obviously developed this solution in-house. Our partner company or sister company in Kenya, which is Safaricom, which is Vodafone owned, was the first that launched M-Pesa there. And we had gotten a guy from there to come and assist us in terms of the whole layout of the system, but the brainchild of the whole system in terms of technical development was in-house with two fresh graduates from USP who joined Vodafone and put up their hand. And in the following year, in 2011, we went on to win the GSMA award in Barcelona as M-Pesa Fiji as one of the best mobile money deployments in the world. So the system is well recognized. You will see, even with the UN, working with the UN in many aspects, they tout our product as one of the best in the region, if not in the world. So we are fairly proud of the system. Currently, we have around 680,000 customers who are registered for M-Pesa. Out of these, around 380 to 400,000 customers do at least one transaction in a month. So we have a fairly active user base. We also have close to about 1,500 merchants, but about 3,800 individual business outlets around Fiji, and through the payment gateway online that actually receive M-Pesa payment. So it's quite an enabling payment system that has empowered many, financially included many, as well as, for the well-being of any person or individual or community, one of the fundamental requirements is that they need to have basic financial services. So from that perspective, I think we have done very, very well in providing financial inclusion.
We have Vinash Singh here from Consumer Council of Fiji. Vinash, the change of the game plan, so to speak, cashless payments being allowed and a lot more transactions happening, financial inclusion. How do you see the progress of that as Consumer Council?
Thank you, Vijay. So as the voice of Fijian consumers, so we fully support going cashless. We believe that is the future. If you see the trends in much more developed countries, that is how they also transitioned. because that is the future, and that also brings about convenience for consumers as well, because with just a few swipes and clicks they are able to purchase things. They do not have the hassle of running around, standing in long queues in banks as well. So it brings about a lot of convenience. It also safeguards consumers if proper precautions are taken as well. It also protects consumers' financial well-being as well. So in terms of going cashless, we believe that is our future direction, and we support initiatives such as mobile money wallets, which promotes a cashless society in Fiji.
How does one register for M-Pesa, and what are the security features?
Yeah, so we are now a fully licensed payment service provider under the National Payments Act of 2022. We are fully supervised by the Reserve Bank of Fiji. So in terms of acquiring a financial service account or a financial account, we meet the same requirements, albeit slightly lower KYC, because one of the things that you will sort of appreciate, Vijay, is a vast majority of rural, particularly rural remote customers, do not have all the requirements in terms of ID, proper address, residential address. So they might give you a village where they're staying, they don't have a street address. So these are some very compulsory requirements to open a bank account. So Reserve Bank sort of gave us a little bit of leeway in terms of opening these accounts to try and financially include. But one of the things that and M-Pesa accounts are generally classified as low risk account because the maximum balance that you can carry in the account is $10,000. And about 80-90% of the customers who use the service would never have that kind of balance in the account, and many keep the money in the bank and then move it. We have integration with 4 or 5 of the banks already where money can move seamlessly. So from that perspective, we are fully compliant in terms of the KYC requirement, which is the know your customer requirement. So we make sure that they provide an ID, there's an in-person verification, we get their registered residential address, we get their occupation.
So every person has got an ID and you have it in your system.
Yes, and if they don't have an ID, then we take a picture of the person and we get somebody to verify that person's ID, such as a Tala or a village, Ratu or a chief, which is acceptable form of third-party verification of a person.
I'll ask you about how much money is going through this mobile money wallet service.
So this year we expect to process about $5 billion worth of transactions through M-Pesa. After COVID, it has really been a revelation. And people who used to transact in the traditional means through normal cash have once they have moved into the digital ecosystem, digital payment ecosystem, they haven't gone back. You look at the inward remittances that we bring into the country. The highest we reached was in August, was $47.8 million in inward remittances in a month. Now, if you look at $1 billion or $1.1 billion that comes into Fiji as total remittances, we are now bringing close to about 43-44% of the total inward remittances. And during COVID, when the whole world was in lockdown, remittance was the lifesaver for Fiji. And people were able to get help from people and families abroad, anywhere in the world, just directly on their mobile phone. So this has really been a game changer, and we expect that this transaction volume will grow. We have recently launched MasterCard, and for the first time placed a open loop worldwide accepted payment card in people's hand who would probably never have had access to that. So yeah.
So you're saying $5 billion, that's in a year?
Yes.
$5 billion this year, and that will be a record.
Of course, it will be a record.
Compared to last year, what would have been last year?
Last year, we would have turned around about $3.5 to $3.8 million.
$5 billion going through your platform is massive. Yeah. Of course, then it brings me to the next question of detecting suspicious transactions.
Sure.
And based on that financial reporting requirements, I will ask Consumer Council first. With that much money going through, do you believe that there's proper suspicious transaction reporting requirements in place from your perspective?
Thank you, Vijay. So from the Consumer Council of Fiji's perspective, Now, because of the large amount of transactions which are occurring through M-Pesa, so the Reserve Bank of Fiji has oversight, as Shalen has mentioned. So it's not only M-Pesa, so digital SMyCash as well. So there are systems in place through which Reserve Bank of Fiji is able to monitor, and if there's any suspicious transactions, so it is the responsibility of Vodafone or any other service provider, financial service provider, to flag it to the Reserve Bank as well. Now, once that happens, so if there's any suspicious activity, it is also important to act on it as well. Right. So the Reserve Bank of Fiji, they diligently do monitor it. If there's any transactions, they do raise alerts, or they do try to find out, or they do try to investigate. Now, from the Consumer Council of Fiji's perspective, so one of the major issues which we have, so transactions occurring, is some of the deceptive practices which are involved, and this mobile money wallet is being used as tools to transfer money. Now, once that is being done, so those are crimes of proceeds. That happens, so it is the responsibility of the service provider, in this case if Vodafone, they give the information to the enforcement bodies. So because the service providers, they are not enforcement bodies, they cannot actively go out and look for people who are scamming. They have the information with them through the KYC and requirements, as Shalen had mentioned. So this information is given to the enforcement bodies, who carry on further investigation. So that's how the entire process goes as well. So even for the Consumer Council of Fiji, if we detect any, or if we receive complaints from consumers claiming that there is suspicious activities or they have been scammed, and if mobile money wallets are involved, such as M-Pesa, so we do flag it to Vodafone or any other mobile money wallet service provider, and we also flag it to the relevant enforcement body as well. Why? Because Vodafone cannot directly reveal any customer information to the Consumer Council of Fiji or to most organizations. So a warrant needs to be served. Why? Because as a service provider, they protect their customers' information as well. So then the enforcement bodies, in this case, for example, if we use the case of eBay, which you had mentioned when we started the discussions, so it goes to the enforcement bodies for their further investigations.
We'll talk about eBay later, but the issue of financial reporting requirements and detecting suspicious transactions, what kind of systems are in place?
So one of the requirements under the FTR, Financial Transaction Reporting Act of the Reserve Bank, is that any transactions, deposits or withdrawal over 5,000 needs to be captured and reported to RBF. So we do that, on a monthly basis in terms of, but it is not just 5,000 transactions that could be suspicious. Many consumers are smart who break transactions, so they might do 2,000 today, 2,000 tomorrow, and 1,000 or 3,000 another day. So we also have a system in place where we are able to see the cumulative effect of smaller transactions, which may be used to bypass the financial transactions reporting. So these sort of transactions are picked up because we have reports on a regular basis that are generated by exceptions, such as the value of transaction that goes through a particular mobile wallet in a month or 2 months or 3 months, and if there is a consistent pattern, then remember, at the time of registering the customer, we also record the customer's profession or occupation. So if somebody has recorded their profession as a housewife and suddenly starts depositing in thousands of dollars in their account, then it raises a red flag. So these are, we have a fully trained compliance officer who reports directly to the financial intelligence unit of the Reserve Bank, and she is trained to basically monitor these sorts of activities. And whilst one transaction may not look suspicious on its own, but the combined effect of transactions. And the good thing about digital financial services are that you can download and do all kinds of analytics. You compare that with cash transactions. Most of the transactions that happen in terms of money laundering, etc., happens in the cash-based economy through money laundering, etc., and it's very, very difficult to sort of detect. So from that perspective, we are fully compliant. We do report all the suspicious transactions. Remember, it's suspicious transaction. It is not a crime. Our responsibility as a service provider is to report what we consider as suspicious. It may not be a criminal act, That part is left to the financial intelligence unit and the
After an assessment is made.
Yes.
Now we keep getting calls from people saying they have that we've won thousands of dollars. I'm sure many people have received those calls on their WhatsApp or Viber. Some person with a foreign accent saying we're calling from Vodafone and you've won $50,000, or even if you haven't taken part in a competition, and that give your details, etc. How many complaints have you received about M-Pesa scam, Finan? And what steps have you taken?
So, as you rightly said, these calls can originate from many mediums, and WhatsApp and Viber are not controlled by us. These are global platforms. But if calls are received from a particular mobile number, using the mobile number, and people complain, we are able to quickly verify. But if people are contacting from overseas through WhatsApp and Viber, we have no visibility over that unless somebody flags it to us. And once it's flagged to us, we then try and see through which global network that call has originated. So we have partnerships with the mobile network providers around the world to trace the call back, whether it's from Nigeria or from India or some other place. And we inform the network provider to say this number may be involved in scamming, and if they could sort of block those calls as spam calls, etc. But these scammers find innovative means to continue to contact customers through the various free or over-the-top sort of applications like Viber and WhatsApp, and they quickly change and get a new number. So it's a constant challenge to be able to monitor these scammers. But one thing, as you rightly say, if offer or some price has been given to you which is too good to be true, it probably is, and it should immediately raise an alarm on customers. Now, if somebody says you won $50,000 and say, please send $500 so I can send you the 50,000, why don't you ask them, please cut the $5,000 from the 50,000 and send me $49,500. They will never do it because there is no such prize money. So these are some important things that customers need to know. I mean, we've just gone from a normal traditional type economy and payment system to digital economy and digital payments. So this is a learning curve for the customers, and this is why programs like this, and thank you for the opportunity, is for us to provide customers that digital and financial literacy so they become aware of these sort of...
if you have $5 billion going through your platform, there will be different people trying different things, no doubt about that.
Yep.
Vinash, we have two main mobile money service wallets, as I said, M-Pesa and MyCash. You have received complaints regarding customers or consumers facing issues or involved in scams?
So as you have said, Vijay, so a lot of scammers who are also based abroad, who are using different platforms to contact consumers here in Fiji. So as Chalian had mentioned, so they'll be calling and saying that you have won $50,000, you have won $10,000, and please transfer this much many amount in order to claim that prize. So those type of scams, including other scams which happened this year. So if you look at the total value of total number of complaints for the past 5 years, the Consumer Council of Fiji has received a little over 1,200 complaints regarding scams which occurred through a mobile money wallet. So that doesn't mean that the mobile money wallet was scamming somehow. It is scammers who use the mobile money wallet as a tool in order to extort money. So it is approximately 1,200 complaints over the past 5 years.
That's quite concerning. A large amount of people losing their monetary value attached to that.
Yes, so the monetary value of that is approximately $1.7 million. But as we always emphasize, that the complaints which we registered, that is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are other bodies such as the FCCC, the Reserve Bank, the Fiji Police Force, which also registers consumer complaints. And in our experience, a very small portion of the victims usually come forward. So if you take that as a benchmark, so the real amount of money which is lost from Fijians' pockets, their hard-earned money, will be high in millions.
So Vijay, I just wanted to make one comment to that. Obviously, 1,000 complaint, but and 1 point something million dollars. You said if you look at it in terms of the total volume of transactions we do, it's very minuscule. But some people are affected financially, and we are concerned about that. And that is why we continuously try to upgrade the security elements of the system, make people more aware, more digitally and financially literate. I mean, recently we upgraded the M-Pesa with enhanced security and asked people to upgrade to the newer version of the app, which in fact by the end of November we hope everyone would have upgraded, because we want to phase out the app, the older version of the app, which provides some degree of leeway for scammers to access somebody else's account if they accidentally release their OTP, etc., from some other device. So what we are doing is now limiting a customer's access to the M-Pesa account only through the authenticated device which is in their hand. It will provide some inconvenience, but it improves security.
We're also getting questions from different people who have sent the questions in. This question is from Jiten. He's the managing director from Vuo Supermarket in Lambasa. He says they have approximately had $40,000 stolen by cashiers from their supermarket late last year. This occurred due to lack of training from Vodafone, he alleges, and lack of control on the balancing of M-Pesa account for agents. His question is, does Vodafone provide adequate training to agents regarding M-Pesa products and balancing, and why don't they have any documented training material for the agents?
So the question, I mean, I don't want to rebut here, but I mean, any service that you take on board, you first need to know how to use it. And if I was the managing director, obviously I would demand that the training be provided. But I can tell you very, very confidently that for all our agents, all our merchants, we do provide training. He says, I think that he was not provided any training materials. We have agent manuals that we provide for future reference. If he was not provided, then it's something that I am happy to look into and make sure that it is provided. But in terms of somebody losing $40,000 through your cashiers, I mean, we don't control the human resource aspect of any business, and any business will need to have their own internal controls, checks and balances, daily reconciliation, surprise audits and cash counts, etc. Because through these mechanisms, you are able to identify some of these scams or fraud that may be happening, so that you can put a stop to it. I mean, if you put too much trust on everything operates on a degree of trust, but over-reliance on trust is also an issue. So from that perspective, I mean, we want to reach out to Vuo Supermarket and see what the issues are. And obviously, we want our customers, our merchants and businesses and agents to do well, because when they do well, we do well. Because something like this could also bring bad reputation to the service and take away consumer confidence. So I'm happy to talk to Rajan and basically see where the issues are and try and help him out if there is any shortcomings in our training. But one of the things that we constantly face with most of the supermarkets is the service is actually provided by the cashiers, and there is a very high turnover of the staff in the country. So when new cashiers come in, some of the businesses do a very shortcut and just tell them few basic things, and basically they don't complete the entire training, and these are times when these sort of things happen. So it's important that we spend quality time to make sure there's complete training and there's continuous monitoring.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
Tomorrow is Diwali. I'm really going to miss you. This Diwali is so special.
Vodafone is giving away $20,000 per week to make this Diwali even more special. Together we can. Vodafone.
Did you know cervical cancer is the second most common cancer among women in Fiji? But what is cervical cancer? And how do you know you have it? Cervical cancer is the growth of abnormal cells in the lining of the cervix. Nearly all cervical cancers are caused by HPV, a virus that can be spread through skin-to-skin contact of the genital area. Women in their 40s are at high risk of getting cervical cancer. Head to your nearest screening facility to get a PEP test and make a difference to your health today. A message from the Ministry of Health and Medical Services.
I've always resorted to drugs because of the work that I do as a coping mechanism.
You said you started sex work and drugs at the same time?
I was 12 years old.
Do you believe, based on the current situation, your salary and allowances should be reviewed and reduced?
Definitely, I think it should be reviewed to reflect what is there in the market.
Is the government of the day promoting nepotism within our community and hatred towards Indo-Fijians?
Thank you very much. The answer is no.
$1 in $3 of our taxes goes towards servicing our debt. So you can't say it's nothing.
There's also the need to do financial inclusion a bit better.
What is your message to the people who may rate you as not good enough for finals rugby?
Success doesn't just happen overnight.
Fiji Village Straight Talk with Vijay Narayan, brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Medical Services and Vodafone. Together we can.
I've always resorted.
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight from Vodafone Fiji, we have Shailendra and Vinash from Consumer Council of Fiji. One of the issues that gripped our nation this year was the eBay recruitment scam. A lot of people lost money, and despite it being clearly stated that it's a pyramid scheme, a lot of people continued to push through. And even we had disputes, conflicts, even coming out online, people receiving death threats, even those who were going against the scheme, and a lot of money lost there. According to the numbers that we've got, 948 complaints received with a monetary value of $1.6 million by the Consumer Council of Fiji. 706 complaints by FCCC valued at around 1.7 million. Police also getting a lot of reports, and of course no one charged yet. A lot of questions continue to be asked. What's happening in relation to that? We continue to follow that up with the police, but most of the funds, according to the people that we've spoken to, went through M-Pesa, and individual agents of this eBay recruitment scam had multiple M-Pesa accounts. Now, Shailen, for the people of Fiji, when did Vodafone alert the authorities? When did some of these transactions look suspicious? And what were your reporting requirements as you were doing that?
So, one of the things that you will note is we, on a monthly basis, we process close to about $180 million as person-to-person money transfer within Fiji. So people send money to one another. There was nothing peculiar about this other than that it was just money sending to one person to the next person. And as you say, there were some agents who would probably have received more transactions, and if they had multiple IDs and multiple SIMs, then they could have used multiple accounts. But one of the things that we have in the system is we are able to see the volume of transactions through our monitoring, and we have reported a number of these account holders to the to FIU and the Reserve Bank as suspicious transactions. Obviously, our role is reporting. Beyond that, the investigative bodies such as Financial Intelligence Unit and the police and FCCC, whoever has the powers, will go beyond and do whatever is required. So from the investigation point of view, those would be the right people to answer the question. But one of the things, as I said to you, is with digital platforms is there's always a digital trail for the transaction. So you are always able to go back and look at what happened, when it happened, and do some analysis and provide the report.
The issue being raised here is the daily limit, 10,000. Vinash, I'll get you in the conversation because Consumer Council released a lot of strong statements calling on authorities to act urgently, and this is before the collapse. And they were raising questions why the authorities were not acting. We were also raising the issue, but no real action was being taken. People were saying we haven't received complaints, which was quite laughable, that we don't wait for someone to get affected and then start looking at it, or waiting for it to eventually collapse. The daily limit being 10,000 in your case, an agent having multiple accounts, 5 to 6 already, alarm bells were ringing that some things were going on. And these agents were trying to beat the system, Shailen, no doubt about that. How could Consumer Council come in knowing that, as Shailen said, you can have more than one account?
So from our point of view, Vijay, so as Shailen had mentioned, so there are consumers can have multiple accounts currently, so that is fine, and that is also monitored by the Reserve Bank. Now for the eBay one, as you have mentioned, that the Consumer Council of Fiji had raised alerts several weeks before it actually collapsed. We were raising alerts, we were going on radio talkback shows, we read newspaper articles, news articles, we used all our social media platforms in order to educate consumers, in order to warn them, in order to raise alerts, to protect their money. Because if you see it worldwide, all pyramid schemes, they eventually collapse and people will lose out money. And something else which I wanted to emphasize, Vijay, there are certain people going around and saying that no, I did not lose anything. Yes, I was smart, I invested early, so that I made the money and I pulled out. We must keep in mind that no money was injected into this particular scheme by the scammers themselves. So if you have actually made money, that is the money from the people who have actually lost. Yes. So if you are saying that you have made money, and perhaps your brother or your neighbor who lost the money, it is probably their money which has been transferred to you, because that's how the money circulates and it goes on top above people who are on the pyramid, upper scale of the pyramid. That's how it actually occurs. So we raise alerts. So as you are aware, we are a consumer advocacy organization. We are the voice of consumers. We do not actually charge businesses or scammers. Our job is to raise alerts, to educate consumers, and that's what we were doing. Now, once the pyramid had collapsed, we formed a task force under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Kami Kamida, in order to investigate these cases. So we had to come up with a strategy on how to investigate these cases, and who will take responsibility for it. So the procedure which we developed was that all the consumer protection bodies such as FCCC, Consumer Council, whatever complaints which we receive, we are going to compile it, and so we also decided together who will be the enforcement body responsible for it. So it was decided that the Fiji Police Force will take responsibility for enforcement. That means that they will be responsible for investigating the complaints which we receive and taking the relevant actions as required as per their procedures. Now, whatever complaints we are receiving, we are compiling it and forwarding it to the Fiji Police Force through the task force which we have formed. So currently the Fiji Police Force is investigating these complaints.
Vijay, just wanted to correct you. In terms of the limits, the account limit is 10,000. The daily transaction limit is 2,000.
The daily transaction limit is 2,000. Yeah. Account and a particular time is 10,000. Yep. Now, just in relation to multiple accounts, knowing that we had agents and money was moving and they will stay within their limits daily, and there will be no suspicion at all?
Yes, but over a period of time, if there's a pattern evolving, then we are able to track those transactions.
Where does the money come from that this person all of a sudden is getting money moving from different accounts?
And there are other information captured during the registration about the person.
Are we looking at, could we be seeing that we may have to limit the number of accounts a person has?
It's something that if the central bank wants us to do, we'll do it. And if we can have one national ID, it makes it much easier.
I just wanted to add one more thing, Vijay. So as you mentioned that, pyramid scheme, it was happening and regarding enforcement action. So we were raising alerts. So one of the difficulties which we are also identifying through the task force, because this is, we have labeled is one of the largest financial scams in Fiji's history. Now we learned a lot of lessons from this, so we are trying to improve on that as well. So one of the things which we looked at was if we are prosecuting or we are going after the scammers and taking advantage through for deception. So the deception component was missing unless someone loses their money. So because if you are saying that you are a scammer and you are deceiving people in order to make money, so if no one lost the money, so that's where the issue arises. So what we are doing currently, and so this is through the task force, which negotiations are currently ongoing in order to protect the people of Fiji going in the future. So the task force members, they have proposed to form a national anti-scam center, or is national scam watch, and we are going about how discussions are currently being laid on how about to form these, what are the laws which needs to be amended, so that one particular body can take action at the very beginning when these scams are detected.
It's quite unfortunate that we have to do this after this event took place, but at least now we need the authorities to act, as the platform provider will never be able to enforce the law as the people have heard today.
But Vijay, you must also realize, I mean, Australia has only done something similar 4 months, 5 months ago. So these are new developments, and the law is generally...
But as I said, there's a lot of people who have lost money, Shale.
Yeah, the law is generally, a couple of years behind, because they cannot foresee what is coming out, because through social engineering, a lot of these scammers are coming with very, very innovative...
Definitely, we need people to understand that how these scammers work. They will always be looking at different things, and hopefully after watching this show, people learn more about and be vigilant about this. We're talking about millions of dollars. Is the money still in the country?
A vast majority of the money should be within the country, and if not all the money, because as we have launched MasterCard, there's a 5,000 monthly limit for overseas payments. There's no way somebody can take more than that unless they go through the clearance with central bank.
Definitely, as you said, there's a digital trail. M-Pesa has got that trail of the person moving money, or if anything like that.
If somebody was receiving a lot of money, the maximum they could hold in the wallet was $10,000. So they obviously would have withdrawn money. Some of this may be in the form of cash lying somewhere.
Yeah, that's the question, Vinash. The issue about law enforcement agencies to be acting quickly. And I did ask this question of the police. The issue about getting the money off the platform, getting the cash, and then they start buying actual items. So they do not have actual cash. These are all proceeds of crime. And if the law enforcement agencies do not act quickly, they'll miss the boat. No one will get charged. What are you doing as Consumer Council or this multi-task force agency? I know you're trying to set up your center, but these people these scammers will actually be moving quickly right now.
So as soon as we get any information for, in this case, eBay Shop Online Recruitment Scheme, So we registered each and every complaint. So there was an influx of complaints. We had a national consumer helpline which we opened in the weekend as well, so that as many consumers they can come forward and lodge their complaints. We went out in the media. We also made press statements for people to come forward. Why? As much information as we get, it will be better for the enforcement bodies to investigate. It will be helpful for them. So as from consumers' point of view, in order to assist them, what we did is we provided a platform for them to lodge a complaint. We registered the complaint. We took all the information which was required. So there was a template being formed. So the Fiji Police Force gave us a template for the information which they required in order to investigate those complaints. We got all those complaints from consumers. So that is approximately 948 complaints which we have received. We got all the information and we have provided it to the Fiji Police Force very quickly. As soon as we receive it, in just on the same day, on the second day, we provide it to the Fiji Police Force so that they have real-time information from the victims in order to investigate these complaints. So that's what we have done from consumers' point of view in order to assist consumers. So another thing which I wanted to highlight here is, Vijay, so consumers, they also need to come forward. So a vast majority, about 99% of the complaints which we have received regarding eBay shop online recruitment is from people in the informal sector. But we know there are a lot of people who were participating in this pyramid scheme who were employed in the civil service. So these were teachers who were participating in it and other civil servants. Now they have lost thousands of dollars as well, but they are not coming forward because they fear, as civil servants, they participated in a criminal activity. That's why they are not coming forward. So that could be one of the challenges, because as many information as they get, the police will be able to map it then, so that there are no gaps missing. Because it is a digital trail based on the information which is provided by Vodafone, they'll be able to map it then. So we need people to come forward as well.
So the issue here comes back to Vodafone saying that the money is still here in the country, digital trail. We need to look at the law enforcement agencies now. How quickly are they acting? Are police finding some breakthrough in the investigation? So
Vijay, so I will not be, because we have given to the task force, they have been given the responsibility to investigate these complaints. I will not be able to speak for the Fiji Police Force. They will be the best people to answer this. They need to update us on the progress of their investigations. But some of the information which we have shared as different organizations. So in case if the money went out of Fiji, so as you are aware, if you are able to, if you are trying to take out anywhere about, I think it was 10,000, correct me if I'm wrong, to take out of Fiji, you will need special approval from the Reserve Bank of Fiji. If you try to, it will be detected. Now, if the money goes through, because millions of dollars was siphoned through M-Pesa platform in this pyramid scheme, of course, Reserve Bank of Fiji would have detected it. Now, what we are, potentially how this money, if it went out of Fiji, how it went out of Fiji, it was probably through other digital mediums. Now, as you are aware, buying cryptocurrency in Fiji is illegal. Now, cryptocurrency, that's basically digital money. Now, that is illegal. However, we are anticipating this is how they could have potentially taken the money out. So, because M-Pesa is connected, which is a very convenient platform, it is connected to the Vodafone's M-Pesa MasterCard. Now, if you try to purchase with MasterCard, of course, you'll be able to transact overseas as well. You'll be able to purchase things online. That is one of the functions, one of the reasons why it was developed. Now, if you try to purchase cryptocurrency, of course, since it is illegal in Fiji, it will be detected as well. So probably how it happened is through the money, gaming vouchers were bought. So there are a few gaming sites which offers gaming vouchers in order to enhance your gaming experience. After purchasing these gaming vouchers, because that becomes anonymous then, and you are not doing anything illegal, you are buying a gaming voucher. On certain websites, that gaming voucher can be again converted into cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. So that is potentially one route which can be taken in order to take money out of Fiji, in order to ensure that you are not raising any red flags. Now, if it did went out of Fiji, that is how it is through the gaming vouchers purchased and which can be later converted into
anything above 10,000 again, you need RBF approval.
Yes, of course, if you're taking out as cash. But if you're making payment, there is an exchange control limit on debit cards of no more than 5,000 Fijian dollars payment overseas. One of the things that I wanted to highlight, now that you talked about cryptocurrencies, when the global scheme network, which is Visa and MasterCard, onboards merchants to whom you can pay through Visa and MasterCard, they give them a specific category code, and it's called the NCC code. So for cryptocurrency traders around the world, they are given a specific code. What Vodafone has done, because crypto trading is illegal in the country, all the crypto sites that have been assigned the NCC code for a crypto are blocked. So you will not be able to even use your MasterCard to buy crypto directly through the M-Pesa MasterCard. But what you are saying about buying some sort of a gaming voucher or a gift voucher, then it becomes a currency. And from our perspective, we cannot monitor beyond that. That can happen through the bank-issued Visa card or MasterCard as well. So
my question is, we're talking about very sophisticated scamming here. And here we had eBay recruitment scam offices right in the middle of cities and towns in this country, and authorities not doing anything. Are you worried? You have got $5 billion going through your platform. You are looking after the interests of the people who are watching, consumers. Are you worried that we had these scam offices physically around? We're talking about a very sophisticated system here, going through gaming vouchers and cryptocurrency sites, etc.
I'm worried to the extent that there may have been some lapse on some part of the authorities, but I also want to highlight, Vijay, we need to get out of this get-rich-quick mentality. You know, as I said, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. But one of the things that, I know people who have tried to educate their family and friends to not get into it, and the response they have been getting from these people who were trying to go into the eBay scam is, you are jealous of me making money. So once a person has made up mind to go into it, no matter how much education and awareness you try and give, they are prepared to take that gamble. It's sadly because the state of affairs of country, the cost of living, etc., is so high. So people are trying to make some quick buck to put food on the table. I mean, some of these are situations where there is desperation and people are resorting to all sorts of get-rich-quick kind of mentality or money-making scams or schemes to be able to, make that money to meet the daily needs. So from that perspective, there is some responsibility on the consumers, but obviously from an authorities' point of view, in hindsight, I think the more collaborative approach that has now been taken, at least we can now be more proactive. And all the agencies can have clearly defined roles as to what they need to do, make sure that this doesn't happen in the future.
Is there enough deterrence in place?
Currently, from the Consumer Council of Fiji point of view, we would like severe deterrence to be served to these scammers. So that if severe deterrence is there, then potential or wannabe scammers, they'll know, yes, if you do something like this in Fiji, the law will catch up to me and you will be charged and there will be harsh penalties for it. That being said, Vijay, I also wanted to emphasize what you said earlier is, yes, we are worried about such scams, but on the same note, we want to emphasize that our sole duty is to protect the interest of consumers. That being said, people or the consumers in Fiji need to put their trust in us. Why I'm trying to emphasize is that well before the pyramid scheme, the Bebe shop collapsed, we were raising alerts. What people were telling us, you do not worry about it. That is our money. We leave it to us. Do not worry about our money. It's our money. So people, they did not trust in us that we were giving them the right advice. They thought that we are against an investment scheme which is trying to make them rich. That was the mentality. And I have also shared that publicly before as well, that even our team, our advocacy team, when they were out and about talking about it, educating people, that they should not invest in it. It is a pyramid scheme, you lose your money. They even receive death threats. But we were really passionate about this topic in order to protect the people of Fiji, because we knew this will happen. The people will lose millions of dollars. So going forward, we really need consumers to put their trust in us, because when we put out our statement, it's not that we just think of it and we just put it out. We do ample research. We also have a research arm. After doing thorough research, we know we have enough proof evidentially that it is a scam. Then we release it to the public, and consumers need to take heed of the advisories which we give out.
And you had some concerns about some media outlets trying to do testimonials, which also was very worrying?
Definitely. So after we released 2 press releases, media statements saying that it is a scam, it is a pyramid scheme, one media organization went ahead and promoted this particular scheme on their breakfast show. They played testimonials from consumers saying that they are benefiting. They were encouraging other people to join in, and that is what gave legitimacy to this particular scheme. Media organizations promoting it, community leaders who were participating in it. People look up to these community leaders, and they were participating in this particular scheme, and they actively promoted. And that is why the Consumer Council of Fiji is actively pushing that agents who actively promoted and recruited people, they should be charged. They so that it serves as a deterrence, and they need to be held accountable for what they did, because they were trusted people in the society. People looked up to them. They misled people. They promoted this scheme, and that's why people participated in it. And these people, they need to be taken to task.
We're talking about M-Pesa and scams. We did ask for people to send in questions, and those many of the questions that we're asking are from those questions that you have sent us. This is not M-Pesa related, but it's from the Chief Executive Officer of Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association, Fantasia Lockington, Shalendra. And she said, I wanted to ask on behalf of private sector businesses, the current dropout rates of the internet. She said, we are on Vodafone and phone connectivity is terrible. There are no warnings, no explanations for why these are happening, or even apologies. I have only seen one for it inconveniencing people and businesses. Why are these happening? Please explain. Yet we see PR on 5G. We need 3G or 4G to work well first, and do one thing right before we move to the next phase. Your comments.
The one thing that I agree with Fantasia is, we see one country doing 5G. We hear everyone making statements that we want to go to 5G without understanding the business, use cases and the level of investments required. It's like a new iPhone 15 coming. Everybody wants to get it, but they only use 2% of the capability that is there. So the current technologies in 4G and 3G that is available there, barely 20% of the capabilities are being used to provide improved services, solutions to businesses, etc. So I think if we put the head in terms of bringing out the solutions that can be delivered using the existing technology, we can add more value. But insofar as network coverage is concerned, I think if you look at International Telecommunications Union and GSMA report, there's a benchmark that we need to have about 99% uptime for network, and Vodafone Fiji is consistently exceeding that as a benchmark figure we report. Yes, like any other electronic or mechanical systems, things will go wrong. Radio networks will go off air for a while, but as long as we have the medium to fix it, I can quite confidently say that our network uptime is very good. Our coverage is 96-97% of the population. Fantasia travels around the world. I'm sure she has gone to Australia in the middle of Sydney CBD. She would experience congestion or dropped out calls. So mobile technology is shared broadband. If there are a lot of people in an area at a particular time because people move, but there is one base station, it could cause some temporary congestion. But over a period of time, as we see where the problems are, we try and expand capacity and capability. We also rely on other utility service providers like power suppliers to be able to make sure that we run the generators. I mean, apart from Vanua Lebu and Viti Lebu and parts of Kandavu and Lebuka where there is national grid power, the rest of the places there is no grid power. We have to put our own genset, we have to refuel it, the boats don't go on time, we have to build our own roads to the highest peak in the mountain where we put the tower and maintain it. So these are challenges we face. But even in the aftermath of a cyclone, Vodafone has proven time and again that we are able to bring the network up at least 70-80% of the network in very quick time, 3-4 days, to restore services. So we are, I mean, as much as people will complain, we will never be able to do 100%. But are we good? Absolutely. Can we do better? Yes, we can, and we continuously strive to do it.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
Did you know that they've been around for more than 2 years? Wait. 120 merchants are selling really good stuff there.
Kai, bombastic side eye.
There are more than 10,000 products. What are you guys talking about? VT Card! VT Card! It's the real feel-good shopping!
Empower yourself. Take control of your health. Breast cancer doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, from women to men. But early detection is our best defense. We encourage you to take the first step. Get informed. Get screened. Join the fight. Spread awareness. Together, we can conquer this disease. Schedule your checkup today. Your health is your power. A message from the Ministry of Health and Medical Services.
We're here for this special boy, Ibrahim. It's Ibrahim's birthday and he loves Paw Patrol. So we had to surprise him with Paw Patrol.
Is it first time?
Yes, yes it is. So excited to see his reaction and the children's reaction as well, who's here to attend his birthday.
You like Paw Patrol? Yeah. Who's your favorite Paw Patrol?
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We're going beyond our usual time this evening, allowing the two gentlemen to explain a lot of your questions that you have sent through. So to ensure, based on the culture of making sure that we're getting your questions answered, that's what Straight Talk is about. We're just going a bit extra tonight to ensure that you get your questions answered. The Viber scam impersonating the FTU General Secretary, Fiji Teachers Registration Head, and asking them to send money via M-Pesa. A lot of that came out in the news earlier today. Consumer Council sent out a statement raising a concern that the general public could get affected. Vinash, if you can shed some light on it.
Firstly, let me just very quickly provide some background regarding this impersonation scam. So a couple of months ago, the Consumer Council of Fiji detected, we received tip-offs and we investigated. So this is how it started. So on Viber, initially what people did, these scammers did. So for example, I have a Viber account, I'll change my name. For example, if I say I'll change my name to Vijay Narayan, because you'll be able to change your name, and I'll change my picture on Viber to your picture, and I'll be messaging your subordinates. Okay, I'm in a meeting, can you quickly transfer $100 to this number, I urgently need it. And people without checking, or consumers without checking, because they are so trusting, they used to transfer the money. That's how that scam initially started. Now, something which we received, the Consumer Council of Fiji received yesterday afternoon, which is quite alarming, we are currently investigating. Now, the first tip-off which we received was from a high school teacher. He received a text message from his assistant principal saying that he is urgently in need of cash, can you please transfer $250 to this given number. And trusting, because it came from the real number of that assistant principal, the real Viber account. So no one was changing the name of a separate number. So this number actually belonged to that assistant principal, and this teacher received the message. So knowing that the message has been received, request has been received through the real account, he transferred the cash to the number which was given. Now when he went back to school, then he discovered, along with other teachers in that school, that the assistant principal did not send that message. We received that tip-off. We were skeptical a little bit, we investigated. The numbers which were being used, we kept tracing, we kept calling it. So we reached the CEO for Fiji Teachers Registration Authority, Miss Sangeeta. So we were asking her how it happened. Then she explained that she received a call, she spoke to someone claiming they are from cyber security. They were asking for personal information, she did not give it. She only gave her name. So she left her phone, she was at home. Suddenly she saw that her Viber app opened automatically. It opened automatically and messages were being sent to her seniors, to other people in the education fraternity requesting for money, and she could not stop it. The messages were outgoing, requesting. So it was saying, one of the messages said that my husband is currently sick, can you please transfer me cash? And it was going from a real Viber account. Now when I asked her which number was first initially contacted you, so when we called that number belonged to the General Secretary for Fiji Teachers Union. When I called Mr. Gounder, then he also informed me that his Viber account was hacked as well. And his contacts were also receiving requests for money. Now, currently we are investigating, we are collating all the information because it has only been 24 hours. We are trying to relay this information to Viber to get a response as well. Viber, of course, it is an international company, but we would like to get in response how this is happening currently, how people's Viber accounts are being hacked and requests for money transfer are being made. Now, as I've said, Vijay, the alarming part is that it is coming from the real account. If people are not aware, they do not take heed, they will end up transferring the money. So the red flags. So we are urging our viewers, all the consumers out there, they must keep this in mind. If you receive a Viber message requesting for money, you must make a cellular call and check whether they are actually requesting, or the real person or the person you know is requesting. The second red flag is, if someone is requesting you to transfer money, they will be asking you to transfer it to their M-Pesa account. They will not be giving another separate number.
Absolutely.
That's another red flag. Now, if for example, if my mobile number is, for instance, 000, if I message someone, I will not be asking them, can you please M-Pesa me on 111. So that's another red flag which people, since we are investigating, that's why we have put this alert out, so that people are aware and they can make informed decisions.
And you have spoken to police, FCCC, all these other law enforcement agencies?
So, because yes, we received these cases today evening. Today we investigated, got as many information as we could, and today we have highlighted it to the task force. Because we need some more concrete evidence, so by tomorrow we will be communicating it to the VIBA International as well as flagging it to the relevant enforcement bodies. We have highlighted in the task force, it means the enforcement bodies are on the lookout themselves. We are collating on the information because information is key. Now another thing which I wanted to highlight here is currently teachers are being targeted, or those in the education fraternity. So those involved in the education sector. So those, everyone employed in this sector or associated with them needs to be on the lookout, and there's highly likely there's chances that it may also spill over in the general public now. That is why we have issued a very quick alert so that consumers, they can take proactive decision. We do not want to see a repeat of what happened in the eBay pyramid scheme. We want to we have raised this flag. We want people to take heed of this.
Shalin, from your side, you know definitely M-Pesa will be used as the transporter of this money for illegal means.
I mean, from an M-Pesa perspective, there is nothing illegal, because if people send money, it's the medium to send money. But you know, as Vinash is rightly saying, WhatsApp and VIBA are third-party over-the-top solution, as you call OTT solutions. These are not Vodafone solution or any other network provider here solution. It's a completely independent app. So when people sign up for these apps, they need to make sure that they also understand the security requirements of these. And if you just open up your VIBA app now and go to the settings section under privacy, there is a two-factor authentication required, where you need to create a PIN, and then once you enter the PIN, it will ask you for an email address, that is your email address, where they will send the authentication message. So you go and then click there to confirm it's your VIBA message, so that, you know, if anybody else tries to hack into your account, you will get the alert. A lot of people do not do this. I mean, we are telling people, just like any other account that you create, the login, the password, the OTP, the PIN, these are very, very important information for you to protect it as your life, because now you keep your money, your all personal information, which are on all these digital platforms, and if you don't secure them, you could end up losing a lot of money. So from our perspective, I'm glad Consumer Council has done this. We will do an alert from our side in terms of sending a message to the entire base tomorrow to make them aware of this. So we will create the awareness, but it's incumbent upon the people that they take heed of this information and do not fall in the trap.
Something else which I wanted to highlight, Vijay, is that something which people need to look out for. So once they access your VIBA account, they are able to read the previous conversation history. For example, if a scammer is to send a message to you using my account, they'll read the previous message history, and they'll be able to study the type of the language they're using. So in one of the cases whereby the teacher transferred the money to a number after being contacted by the assistant principal, when he received the message from the assistant principal, the language which was used was exactly as the assistant principal would have messaged. So because this was the assistant principal was Itoke, so there was a mix of Itoke in English. So when the scammer was messaging, a similar linguistic pattern was followed. So people need to look out for that as well. Consumers need to look out for that as well. That they should not use that in order to trust that message.
Shailen, just in relation to people who have been scammed and who have been on the M-Pesa platform, they definitely have come forward. What is the monetary value of complaints received by your organization? And for those affected, are they being compensated? What's the recourse? Because you are also saying that that's the customer's decision. They decided to do that. The illegal action did not take place by the platform provider. it's the decision made by the consumer.
It's not that we do not want to assist. The sad thing is, we have a 24-hour helpline where customers can verify some details before sending the money. The problem is when they send the money, when they scam, then they call us back. I give you an example. So somebody impersonated or tried to call some people and say, I am a representative from LTA. I can give you a taxi payment if you send me $500 now. I mean, you know, there is no way in the world you will get a taxi payment for $500. So you are sort of aiding and abetting if you're sending money, because you are trying to get something that, you know, you will rightfully not get it in a proper way. So, you know, people send money and then they try and call that number. The number is diverted, the money is gone. Then they call us and say, I send the money, can you please hold the money for me? But these scammers are very smart. So they call, then from this mobile money, they transfer it to somebody else who may be waiting at an agent, and that person has withdrawn the money. But if they are able to inform us in quick time, we are able to hold some money, and we've been able to hold some of these money, suspend the account and get the money returned to the customer. But if it's gone, there is very little we can do, because the account holder has done the legitimate transaction insofar as M-Pesa platform is concerned. But what we want to say in this situation, there are, of course, when things like this happen, we have all the registration details of the scammers. If they have registered a SIM through which they committed this crime, the police serves us a warrant, the person needs to report to the police. We give, I mean, when the police sends a report, within a day or two, we are able to provide the information to the police. Beyond that, we are not the investigative arm. We don't have the authority to do it. We provide all the necessary information, but it's in the hands of the law authority to see how quickly they can, you know, bring the perpetrator to, you know, to task, to justice, and make sure that these people are compensated in some way or form if they could be.
You're talking about security has been heightened for M-Pesa with the M-Pesa app, the other one to be phased out, and that is taking place, of course, but there will still be other things emerging like this where
the human element is the biggest risk, because if people are overly trusting of, you know, calls and messages from unknown sources and act on that, that is something no platform will ever be able to control, because the human element and their actions is actually contributing the most to this. The platform can only do so much.
Vodafone has recently launched M-Pesa MasterCard product that allows people to buy things online, subscribe to platforms such as Netflix, etc. How can users protect against being targeted or defrauded, because they are now using the MasterCard as well?
Have you registered for one?
I haven't as yet.
So, you know, a couple of things we have brought which are a game changer in this market is we have empowered the customer to be in complete control of the usage of the MasterCard. On the app itself, we provide constant monitoring and instant transaction alert. So the moment you do a transaction, even if you are overseas, a message will come on your phone to say you have done this much transaction in Australian dollars converted to Fijian dollars. From the 5,000 limit that you are supposed to spend overseas, you have this much balance remaining. Nobody else provides that kind of service. We also provide the option for the customer to go into the M-Pesa app and switch on and switch off their MasterCard directly from their mobile phone, which means if I make a payment to Netflix, let's say using my card, straight after that I can switch it off. So even if I lose my wallet with the physical card, nobody will be able to use it until I turn it on again. So this is about consumer empowerment and making them remain in control all the time, as opposed to I have to call my bank to say I lost my card or somebody has stolen my card, and they go and block the card. By then the fraudsters may have already done you know, an unauthorized transaction. So these are some of the additional features we do. I mean, and our onboarding process in terms of M-Pesa MasterCard is 100% digital onboarding. So you do it directly from the app and you provide all the information. Our back office team then does the verification and approves the card. Then once the physical card comes, we send a message directly to the person's mobile that you can pick up your card from MHCC or Vodafone Nandi. They go pick, And that point we do a physical verification of the ID that was submitted in the online registration versus the person before them, and only when the two match that we release the physical card and enable the card for them to start doing transactions. But you know, what we have done through financial inclusion through M-Pesa is some of the people who will get access to this global payment card would probably have never got it through the normal financial system. So many of them are very excited, very eager to use. You know, in one case, what happened was one customer actually took a picture of the MasterCard with the numbers showing, etc., and put it on Facebook and said, I have got my MasterCard. The moment we saw it, we completely blocked the card, we disabled the card, we contacted the customer and said, never do this again, because those are personal details that should only remain with you, because somebody could just go online and use those details to do a transaction. So there are a lot of digital learning and digital financial literacy learning that needs to happen over a period of time. Unfortunately, some will probably fall victims before they learn the hard way. We are doing a lot of advocacy. We've joined hands with Consumer Council and other agencies and media organizations. We've already done 7 or 8 talkback shows with different media organizations, and we want the consumers to take heed. Even the messages that we send to every mobile number, please do not ignore it. If we say important message or important advisory, it's 160 characters long. Read it, be aware, and take precaution.
That's very clear cut. Vinash, you are definitely concerned about, from the consumer's perspective, when new platforms start, while digital financial inclusion is a positive thing and takes a very broad approach and more people get connected to it. But again, those who may not be well versed with these systems can get caught out.
Yes, Vijay, as I have said before, the Consumer Council of Fiji supports our transition to a cashless society. But of course, as you have said, there are barriers. At times people are not aware. In that instance, that's why we are there for them, because our sole interest is to protect the rights or interest of consumers. Now, if consumers have any issues, they are not aware of anything, if they do not understand the terms and conditions, they should just pick up the phone, call our toll-free number 155. We will do it for you. If you are not sure, if someone has called you and said, okay, this is an investment opportunity, you do not have to do research. If you don't want to, call us, we will do it for you. We will inform you whether that investment is legitimate or not, whether they should participate in that or not. We will do that. So people just need, consumers, they need to reach out to us. And if they do fall victim to something, any investment scam, they need to complain, they need to tell us, so that we are aware, we are able to inform other consumers. We will immediately issue public advisories through all media outlets, so that other consumers, they do not fall victim. So that's a very crucial part of it as well. Now, as you have said that, you know, we were talking about cashless society and digital transformation. Now, we also fear that if we do not take appropriate action, and we are not, as individuals, as consumers, we do not take enough caution as well. If we fall victim to it, we will, in the future going forward, we will fear using these digital platforms, and that will serve as a barrier towards our digital transformation, and which we are looking forward to. So we need to address these gaps, we need to address these issues. That is why we are working with policymakers. We are advising them on the consumer's point of view. We are also having talks of forming a national anti-scam center, or the Scam Watch Center. We are also contributing towards it to represent consumers' interests, to ensure that going forward there are enough laws, legislations, effective legislations in place to protect the interest of consumers.
And the other issue is, you know, with the new scam that's just come out, there's actual links being sent through via text, and when you click on that link, you are then opening things up where you can get hacked. So just ensuring that if links are being sent, you are unaware of the people, just like suspicious emails that are being sent, do not click on those emails, just delete them, instead of trying to find out, if I do click on them, what would happen next. You may be losing a few things or getting completely hacked, your platform getting affected, and in the end becoming a victim of this.
So Vijay, one of the things I wanted to highlight here is, so some customers call us and say, how come the scammer in somewhere overseas knows my number? So the simple fact to that is, everybody around the world knows in Fiji the mobile numbers start with 9, 8, 7, 6, whatever. And if you do any combination of 7 numbers, you are bound to hit some number. They may not know your number, but you may just happen to be that random number when they dial those 7 digits starting with 8, 9, 7, whatever, it just hit you. So, and in many cases, people go online. There are some free deals, freebies, which requires you to provide your personal information, your mobile numbers, your residential address. So people just freely give all this information, and you don't know who is on the other side waiting for this information to then use it against you. So be very, very careful when you are giving personal information, mobile numbers, bank account numbers, M-Pesa account numbers, or any sort of login, password, OTP. Please protect it as if it's your life.
Final question, Shailen. This is not M-Pesa related, but there's some connectivity in relation to transferring of funds and about e-ticketing. One particular issue, this is from Jonathan Lee, is when topping up your bus card via M-Pesa. In most cases, the bus drivers do not redeem. Consumers have to go to the Vodafone outlet to redeem, not just any shop, putting much inconvenience to the public who need public transportation to move around.
It's a very good question and very legitimate question. The e-ticketing service is a multi-stakeholder involvement. So there are bus operators, Vodafone is the solution provider, there's LTA, there's government, then of course there is passengers. Sadly, what has happened in the last 6-7 years that e-ticketing has been, the burden of everybody's responsibilities have somehow shifted onto Vodafone. We have enabled people the opportunity to be able to top up their e-transport card through M-Pesa, but it needs to be redeemed. So if the bus driver is not doing it, we are not in control of the bus driver, or we are not the bus operator. So the right person to ask this question would be to the Bus Operators Association. But what I wanted to say here is, we are now 6 years, over the last 6 years we have had a number of experience and learnings. We have shared this with the government. The government is drawing a new terms of reference. They will call for expression of interest, and we are very, very hopeful that what we have raised will be addressed for the benefit of the consumers.
Another concerning issue again from Jonathan is during top up from the shop for the bus cards, why some shops say there is no balance in their system, and he's highlighted an example of families having trouble getting home. Buses did not want to take them as their bus card had no funds. The closest shop to their destination could not top up their bus card, put a strain on mothers and children, etc.
So you go to a shop to buy onion. There is no onion in stock because the shop owner didn't want to pay the wholesaler to get the onion in stock. Similarly, before e-ticketing agent is able to top up a card, they need to have electronic value with them, which is their stock. So if they don't pay for their stock, sell the previous stock and use the money and not pay for the next stock, they will not have stock to top up. So it's a same issue as you would have with the physical tangible product. We cannot continue to provide e-value stock to an agent who is making the money on the expense of somebody else without paying for it. So, at the end of the day, there are some commercial aspects to this whole e-ticketing, and as part of the review process for the new system, we have given our feedback. Hopefully all these issues are ironed out, because one party cannot be operating at the expense of the other. It's not a sustainable model. Even in marriage, it doesn't work.
And at the end of the day, as we finish off the show, we would like to say at the end of the day, the people out there get affected.
Absolutely.
They cannot top up their bus cards, they cannot move forward, they cannot The life is getting more difficult for them rather than easy.
I mean, digital solutions are supposed to be more convenient and more, beneficial to the whole thing. So we absolutely sympathize with Jonathan and people like them, and hopefully in the review process we are able to address all these issues.
So just to add on to that, Vijay, so we have also been receiving such concerns from consumers as well, especially those living in the rural areas. So what we have done is, but using their concerns, we have integrated it into a submission, and we have made a submission to the government because they were going through reviewing the process. We have made submission on behalf of the Fijian consumers in order to take into account the issues which they are facing, so that whatever changes are being made, it also addresses their concerns and it protects their interests as well.
We'd like to thank Vinash from Consumer Council of Fiji and Shailendra from Vodafone Fiji for coming on this show to clarify a number of issues in relation to what people have been asking for. And we finish off the show tonight confirming that our guest next Wednesday night will be the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Professor Biman Prasad. So until next week, have a great evening.
Thank you, Vijay.